Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to CTV News, British Columbia Premier David Eby has sharply criticized the federal government, stating that Ottawa is rewarding Alberta for bad behavior by agreeing to advance a new bitumen pipeline to the west coast. Prime Minister Mark Carney and Alberta Premier Danielle Smith signed an implementation agreement to push the pipeline proposal to Ottawa's Major Projects Office by July 20, potentially declaring it a national interest project by October to expedite its development. Eby expressed strong disapproval, emphasizing that project prioritization in Canada should not be influenced by a province's threats of separation, a clear reference to Alberta's recent political movements. He demanded that Ottawa extend the same level of attention and coordination to British Columbia's projects as it does to Alberta's proposed pipeline, noting that the latter still lacks a proponent or defined route. The Premier also reiterated his government's unwavering opposition to any repeal of the existing North Coast tanker ban. The Coastal First Nations Advocacy Group echoed this sentiment, asserting that its members would never permit a pipeline or oil tankers on the North Coast, and highlighted assurances from Minister of Energy and Natural Resources Tim Hodgson that no project would proceed without Indigenous and provincial support. Eby is scheduled to meet with the Prime Minister next week to present a list of bitumen Caesar Turdy funded resource projects advocating for a collaborative approach to national development. Baffinland Iron Mines Corp., an iron ore producer operating on northern Baffin Island in Nunavut, has applied for and received initial court protection from its creditors. The company announced that the Ontario Superior Court of Justice granted it a 10-day stay of proceedings, which may be extended. This measure allows Baffinland to maintain control over its operations and stabilize its financial situation while it evaluates strategic alternatives. These alternatives include potential recapitalization, a corporate sale, or other restructuring efforts. Furthermore, the company is actively engaged in discussions with prospective lenders to secure debtor-in-possession (DIB) financing, which is crucial for maintaining operations during the restructuring period. Baffinland has assured that its Mary River and Milne Port operations are not expected to face any disruptions, and the upcoming 2026 shipping season is anticipated to proceed as scheduled. The company also committed to honoring its agreements with the Qikiqtani Inuit Association. This news was reported by the Canadian press on May 15, 2026, but they go so said book on thou to score. Has said now. Morpak? CTV News reports that two men from Metro Vancouver, Van Phuong Vu, 28, a lawful permanent resident of Canada and Vietnamese citizen, and Johnny Huyen, 36, a Canadian citizen, are facing federal human smuggling charges in the United States. They were arrested near Bellingham, Washington, after allegedly helping 8 Vietnamese nationals illegally enter the U.S. from Canada. The migrants reportedly crossed on foot into Point Roberts, Washington, an isolated peninsula community, and then took 2 charter flights to the Washington state mainland, where they were intercepted by federal agents. Investigations revealed that some Vietnamese nationals had agreed to pay between $13,000 and $15,000 to be smuggled, with their final destinations including New York and Tennessee. These arrangements were reportedly coordinated through social media, with payments due upon arrival. The charges, conspiracy to transport aliens for private financial gain, carry a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Global News reports that the Ontario government has implemented changes allowing more stores and malls to open on Victoria Day, a move also extended to Family Day. Premier Doug Ford initiated these changes following his frustration earlier in February over major shopping centers, like Sherway Gardens and Yorkdale Mall in Toronto, being closed on Family Day. Ford stated he was inundated with calls from people wanting to shop and believes the new policy will boost the province's GDP by creating close to 1 million working hours. The government emphasizes that this provides retailers with the option to open, ensuring employees have the flexibility to choose extra shifts for increased pay, while maintaining their right to take the day off. However, the decision has drawn criticism from political opponents, including Ontario NDP leader Merritt Stiles, who argued that statutory holidays are essential for families to spend time together, fearing the changes could erode this mandated break time. Prior to this, the Retail Business Holiday Act restricted shopping on several holidays, although Family Day was covered by the Employment Standards Act for enhanced wages. The Montreal Port Authority announced on Friday the appointment of Paul Bird as its new CEO. This move comes just 2 months after Bird, who previously served as the port's chief operating officer, left the organization to take on a managerial role at Alto Canada's high-speed rail project. The appointment has reignited questions surrounding the Port Authority's leadership, which has seen significant turnover, including the chief financial officer stepping down less than 3 weeks ago and former chief executive Julie Gascon exiting 6 weeks prior without explanation. The House of Commons Transport Committee had even called former executives, including Bird, to testify. Board chairwoman Nathalie Pilon expressed full confidence in Bird, emphasizing his commitment to the port's major container terminal expansion at Contrecoeur Quay, a one-by-the-night, the $16 billion terminals project. This information is from the Canadian Press. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.